All right. Hello and welcome to another fucking Islanders podcast. I am here with Brandon Gaines, Mike, and finally, the one and only Eric Vogel. Let's get started, boys. We have a busy week ahead. We got draft week coming up and then free agency a little shortly after that. The Islanders have made a coaching change, and there is a sticky situation in the land up north. What do we want to get started on first?
Before we even get to that, I just want to point out Eric Vogel's hashtag next to his name.
Neither of them
Yeah,
mentioned it.
this has become
Living up to his gimmick.
I
Love
thought
it.
was
Neither of them mentioned it until you got here. I've been talking to these guys for like 10 minutes waiting for you, and nobody said anything. Either
we're on our iPhone, so it's really small.
I
This
think they
has
just
become a thing in recent months. The whole
They're just
trade
in denial.
Barzal anti-joke thing. How did that start?
it started because Matt Barzal doesn't look or play like anybody else on this team, aka he can handle the puck and skate. So
So obviously he's not a
you
loser.
trade the piece. You trade the piece that doesn't fit. He doesn't fit in this puzzle. So let's get a slower, less adept piece to put in where his, where he would be. Of course, it's a joke. Of course, it's a joke.
No, I understand. Trust me, I understand it's a shit post from all of you, and I think that it's hilarious. But
Great to have you here, Eric.
But I do think that like the 4 or 5 people that take it seriously are even funnier whenever they respond to you guys as if you're making points.
It's catching. There have been a couple of people who have actually.
Oh, I've seen it. It's kind of
considered
hilarious.
And there's people who are actually dead serious about it and say, "Hey,
That's
let's
what
just
makes
put
it funny.
Ratu as the first line center." I'm like, no.
It's a protection mechanism that you develop as an Islanders fan after long enough. Like you protect yourself by thinking things like this.
What is this, like the old adage, you can't hurt me nearly as much as I can hurt myself?
Yes. Yeah. It's true.
It's like it's like you can't make fun of the Knicks like I can.
I'm
a Knicks fan.
If we were a Knicks-centric podcast right now, we'd be in for a fucking banger.
I just came across a Facebook memory of when the year Tavares left, that it was I filmed my cat, whose name is JT. We put out 6 bowls and with like food and treats in them, and put little team names for all the suitors. It was like the Sharks.
Did he eat out of the Maple Leafs bowl?
He did not. He ate. Actually, he went to the Islanders bowls first, ate a treat, and then he finished the food in the Bruins bowl. So entirely wrong, but
JT indecisive as ever.
Which topic do we want to start with? Do we want to start with the Russian problem?
Yeah, we can start with that.
Sure.
So, Ivan Fedotov, as you guys know, he has been detained for falsifying documents and for trying to shirk his military service time and, in essence, defect. The Russian government is saying that he does not have his 2 years required service time done, and he is trying to leave the country before that is completed. And so now he is on a naval ship, and he is in the Arctic, I believe, and he's going to be playing. They're saying he's going to be playing for the Arctic Navy military team as their goalie, but it seems like he's kind of just shipped off to fuck off Siberia.
They took his cell phone away too, so he can't contact his lawyer either.
He can't communicate with his lawyer or his parents. Yeah.
He was okay, listen, I understand rules, whatever, but people have bribed their way out of this before. To me, this just comes across as Russia just wanting to make an example out of somebody in the worst way possible. This guy was abducted. Like,
plain and simple. Yeah.
It's listen, like, I heard like it costs like around like $5,000 to bribe your way out of a situation like this.
Well, you heard the Kaprizov news too. I mean, how funny, not funny, but how crazy would it be if Minnesota was out without him next year? It would be ridiculous.
Well, I'd be willing to bet the price tag for bribing your way out depends on how much money you have.
Yeah, true.
It also depends on the circumstances of the moment.
This
might be a situation where Putin doesn't really want players to bribe their way out. He kind of wants to make an example of you, and so you're just going to stay.
Well, and he'd prefer to have the prestige of having those guys play at home for longer, I'm sure.
So regarding Kaprizov, though, so apparently his father came out on social media and said that the claim about him having a fake military ID is false.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
That's kind of like what just happened with Lou.
For right now, it's a he said, she said thing. But I'm just basing off of what Kaprizov's family is saying about the situation.
They said
Russia could change their mind any second regarding these circumstances.
Yeah.
But as of now, like I even read Athletic Report by Athletic reporter Michael Russo. He also confirmed that Kaprizov has not returned to the United States yet. So it's a little bit murky right now. We don't know. Sure. We don't know what's going on. I'm just putting a couple pieces together. That one Montreal reporter who didn't clarify the situation about Kaprizov, saying like this is where he would be if he joined the army for Russia, and he had to correct himself literally 3 minutes later, and the whole Minnesota Wild Twitter went in frenzy from this completely. Because there was like, if you're going to bring up topics like this, you have to give 100% clarity. Otherwise, you're going to throw people into a frenzy.
Oh, for sure.
Completely. So, hopefully Kaprizov's okay. Hopefully Fedotov's okay from this. Like,
I don't care about
the one that I'm the most concerned over. Like can say,
as human beings, I care about them. Like it's not fair that you're literally abducted. Because you weren't given an opportunity to at least bribe your way out of a situation like other star players have done. I'm not saying he was going to be a guaranteed star in the NHL, but he was a promising prospect for the Flyers.
Yeah,
that's the main thing. Like we can look at this as through the lens of a hockey player and say, oh, we're upset that he doesn't have the opportunity to make our team better. We're upset that he's not going to win games for us. We're upset that he's not going to get the career he wanted. But in all honesty, this is a lot bigger than that. This man's a political prisoner, and his life theoretically is on the line here. Anything can happen to him while he's in boot camp, while he's in the Arctic Circle. This is a lot deeper than hockey.
I'm sure they're still being well taken care of. Like that would be bad publicity if they just fell off the face of the earth. Of course, that would be, a bigger deal and a higher profile issue than I'm sure other people in the Russian military are dealing with.
I think most people will be well taken care of. But this person, it seems like they're really hell-bent on making an example out of him. So I'm very nervous to see what happens to him.
Yeah.
Because this has now become like a media show. So the response that he's going to get is going to be in the public eye. So Putin might want to try to be as aggressive as possible with him to send a message.
Yeah.
So there was yesterday. So Kevin Kurtz posted regarding Sorokin's agent, Dan, saying he had no comment about the situation. People don't realize he can't say anything. If Dan says, if Dan Milston's his agent, if he says one wrong thing, knowing Sorokin's in Russia, he's screwed.
Yeah.
Brandon, Lou came out today before you joined the podcast. I let them know. Lou came out and said, it was posted on Twitter. I don't remember who reported it, but Lou apparently let everyone know that Sorokin was going to get here, and it's not going to be a problem.
Well, that Lou Lamoriello has gotten people to defect from Russia before, so Lou has the track record of doing something like that. If anyone could provide any further research on this. I have no proof that Dan Milstein has the same credibility to get like these unexpected people to defect from Russia to the U.S. like Lou has. So of course Lou can say that, but
Lou's also going to say this no matter what.
He has to.
Ilya Sorokin could be detained somewhere, and Lou would say, "Yeah, everything's going fine. Situation normal."
Me personally, I've done a lot of reading on this. Unless there's like a drastic change in their policy, I think Sorokin will be fine. I think Kaprizov will be fine too, according to reports out there. But he might
have to like pay his way out, but I think that's probably a possibility for him.
Well, Sorokin. Listen, he got a raise, so I mean, worst case scenario, he can afford it. Kaprizov. Kaprizov's making bank from Minnesota, rightfully so. So, worst case scenario, he could bribe himself out of the situation as well. That would be that would be horrible PR on Putin to let players like this not get opportunities, because it makes people unsure whether or not. A player who I do not think is as good as Marco Rossi, Shane Wright.
Your favorite.
That's a good lead-in. Do we want to talk about the draft now?
Yeah.
Do you want to do the Islander ones first? Do we want to rank that first, or do we want to do the draft happening tomorrow first?
Your choice.
Okay. Which one?
Whichever you guys want. Do you want to go over the historical drafts, or do you want to go over the current one?
I think we should let the guy who wants to trade Barzell have a say in this.
Okay. Do the current draft first.
Okay.
All right, let me pull this over. I was doing video.
All right, so we all have our ideas of who the Islanders should pick. I'm in the camp that they should get Brad Lambert personally, if he's available.
Brad Lambert.
That's who I think.
Seems like a reach to me.
So
he has high-end talent. He's supposed to be like top 3 talent in the draft. He's obviously has some. He's the nephew of our coach, right?
Yeah, he's the nephew of Lane Lambert. Yep.
Yeah. So I mean,
so you already have that connection.
High-end talent, a bit of a risk, but I see him as late in drafts as 17, 18, 19. I mean, if you're a top 3 talent in the draft and he's not taken by 13. I mean, it's certainly would be a good option. I mean, right now, how bad is it that we didn't draft Tage Thompson, right?
I mean, like a first-line center right now. You can't let that inform. It's slightly different.
Tage Thompson's fantastic, though.
He's good, but that doesn't mean that Lambert will be Tage Thompson.
Yeah, but Brent Thompson could have done something right in his entire career for the first time.
I mean, Pronman in his latest draft has Lambert going 28th to the Sabres. I've seen him go really late. And I will say this. I'd be fine with Lou like moving back into the first, trading, I don't know, whatever it might take. Bailey to move back up if Lambert falls. But it doesn't seem like, I don't know. Most of the mock drafts I've seen seem like we're taking Lambert because he's related to the coach and not because he deserves to go there.
Like I said, I read that people think he's a top 3 talent in the draft. He just has attitude issues. So that's interesting. This isn't a high-end talent draft, but in my opinion, it's deep. There's a lot of guys who look like they could be NHL players. So,
if you don't pick him, Frank Nazar looks like a good option.
See, Frank Nazar, his skill set reminds me a lot of Pajot.
I agree.
He's actually around Pajot's height, speedy. Don't know how he is on the dot, but has a very, very good defensive responsibility. His issue, though, is his offensive approach. He usually chooses like one area specifically to skate towards when he approaches the slot area to attack, and that's one.
Oh, sorry. Keep going.
Well, no, that's the one. That's one of the few complaints that people have of Frank Nazar, and he's not that tall. He's not a big dude. He's below 6 feet.
Do we think the approach issues could be something that could be ironed out through coaching?
Maybe, but you know how I said Lambert's probably a top 3 talent. Nazar is probably a top 3 skater in this entire draft. So that's why he's probably so high on a lot of drafts, a lot of people's draft rankings, mock drafts. So
yeah.
A lot of people are debating between him and Connor Geeky of who should be a higher prospect. I could see the argument for Geeky. I don't see Connor Geeky falling that low though. Frank Nazar, I think, could fall to 13, but I don't think Connor Geeky is going to fall that low. I think Geeky will be in like below before 10th overall.
On a completely unrelated note, Pronman's draft from today is the latest mock draft has Wright going 4th overall.
Yep.
Like it actually has Wright going 4th.
Yep.
Like I said,
insane to me.
Like I said, I'm not that big of a fan of Shane Wright. I'm just not.
Not putting him in the top 3 though seems like a stretch. Like I can see him not going first, but not top 3 seems very low for him.
Look what it looks.
See, the thing is 2 is out because you've got Hischer, you've got Hughes. You're not looking for center depth if you're New Jersey. You're looking for something else.
No, but if he's not taking first overall, I would assume
you're looking for Johnny Gaudreau if you're New Jersey.
Oh yeah. No, that's our player. So I'm on Yahoo mock draft, and they have us taking Pavel Mintyukov. He's defenseman, which is like completely, in my opinion, that's not what we need.
That's what you get for taking evaluation from Yahoo.
He's a righty, right? He's a righty, right?
Left-handed.
That's also a
safe
left pick. We've kind of we've had a good track record of developing defensemen, so it might be like they might be assuming that he'll probably develop better than a forward would.
Pronman has him going 12th overall to the Blue Jackets.
Yeah, well, he plays for Saginaw or whatever, and we drafted from there before. I think Bodie Wild.
No, yeah, that worked out.
That's why I think we might be scared. It's a bit of a gamble. He seems very risky player, but I don't see the Islanders taking a defenseman, though. I don't know if you guys do either, but to me that doesn't make sense. We need forwards, in my opinion, and centers in particular, and there's a few, like Connor Geeky. If he falls...
They have only one promising NHL center prospect, and that's Ratu. Don't give me Koivula. Don't give me Colin Adams. Ratu is the only one, in my opinion, who could be a common NHL player.
There's a few exciting names between Casper, Nazar, Savoy, however you pronounce that, Ostland. Like a lot of centers that could fall to the Islanders, and I think that would be their best choice if they don't pick.
This may be the NBA draft and me talking, but
trade away this first round pick and don't have any first this year.
Not trade away. What happens more often in the NBA draft is trading down. You trade back. You think your guy's still going to be there, which if Lambert is going in the higher teens or lower 20s, or if Lou expects that to happen, a trade back for some incremental value while still getting, a guy who has a tie to the organization and
the Islanders are in the
that seems like a much more aggressive approach than people usually take in hockey. Sure. So I don't think that would happen.
It reminds me of when Garth Snow did that back in 2008. He traded down twice and selected Eric's favorite boy. Well, would you rather have Bailey or Nikita Filatov, who's not been in the NHL in almost a decade? And they got a lot. They got a lot of draft capital from that trade. A lot of draft capital from those trades.
Right now, I'd rather have neither.
Of course, right now I would rather have neither. Of course, I'm just saying, I'd rather have someone who could play some NHL minutes versus a guy who didn't even. I don't think he even lasted 5 years. Filatov. So, yeah. And I was at that draft too. I remember Islander fans when they were up to select who Islander fans were hoping to be Filatov, they kept on chanting Filatov, and twice we passed on him.
So, an interesting name that I mentioned last time, Danila Yurov. I think, in my opinion, is a top 10 talent in the draft. If he falls to the Islanders, might be a really good pick. Apparently, he's got one of the best work ethics in this draft, and a lot of the analytics geeks, the guys that I follow on Twitter, have comparisons to Nikita Kucherov with him, which is exciting. So
what was that name again? I missed that. Sorry.
Just not entirely with play style, but more so with production.
I've seen the charts on him, and it seems very early to try to map that out. I'm not really convinced about the comparison yet.
They look at production at his age and what he's doing, and he has a similar roadmap to what Kucherov was doing.
Which name? I missed it.
Danilo Urov?
The top 10 prospect in this draft, but it's one of those political climate issues. He's a Russian player.
Yeah.
There's going to be a few Russians who fall to us, and they're going to be high-end names, guys who should be in the top 10.
I honestly think, like, going back to like Russia for a second, I have a feeling you're going to see like a lot of late round Russian picks who should be like second round, first round material. You're going to see a huge wave of that in the later rounds.
I would say this is the year that you try to make one of those late round picks yours, because you're going to be getting incredible value. It's a gamble, but I do think it's worth it if you have like a mid-second round pick to pick somebody that should have gone maybe 20th or 30th overall.
Yeah.
This draft is exciting. Even though there's not like that top-end talent, there's a lot of players who look like they're going to be NHL players, so...
Yeah, a lot of good depth this year.
Next year, we're looking at the high-end talent with Bedard and a few others. I forgot, not off the top of my head. But. Which
would be smart on Lou's part if he thinks that Brad Lambert's going to fall in the late teens. I would trade back twice and accumulate draft capital for next year rather than this year. Yeah, that would be the smart move. Like you could have a team that's like really greedy, wants to make a big prospect splash in their opinion, and they may want to trade up.
But you're not getting first round picks to trade for next year to trade back this year.
No. I'm saying like second and thirds. Yeah. I'm saying like seconds and thirds. Like for next year's draft, not this one.
Yeah, I got you.
Like for example, like Vegas is 3 spots below us, right? Or are they 4? They're 3, right?
No, what you do is you have those picks for next year where if you want to trade up, you can.
You could do that too. Absolutely.
You think about next year with, like I said, there's a little bit more of a high-end talent pool to pull from next year. But this one, I guess Brandon's right. This one's deep enough where if you trade down, you still probably should be okay.
So just so you know, Brandon, Vegas does not have a first-round pick this year.
Oh, yes, they traded it to Buffalo. That's right. The Eichel trade. Oh, my God.
Yep.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. I cannot believe Buffalo actually won a trade. That's hilarious.
So,
why do you say that?
Because Buffalo never wins their trades. They like the one trade.
They won already. It's been like 2 months.
Look at all the people that Vegas has to give up to be cap compliant.
Eichel's gonna lift a cup and Brandon's gonna be like, Buffalo won the trade.
I don't think Vegas
has no chance of lifting the cup right now. I'm sorry.
They have no ELC production coming from their team, and their core is not getting any younger. I mean, sure,
but I mean, I don't think you can say they won the trade yet. I'm gonna have to see a few more years down the line before you say that. It's not as clear.
Tucking a first makes that already a win for me.
And then they get Peyton Krebs on top of that.
Peyton Krebs traded for a first line center, not only a first line center, probably one of the best centers in the league.
Sure, but
it's not a bad trade.
If he's healthy, that's an if.
But when he's over a point per game player.
But do we know if he's ever going to be that player again after the surgery?
I just see a $10 million cap hit compromising their window because they have to ship out more people.
Are you not the same guys who are willing to take the risk on Tarasenko, who you were right to do so because he was amazing last year?
That's assuming that was even possible.
Yeah, Tarasenko's cap hit wasn't as high as Eichel's, and he had less term than Eichel, and he wouldn't have cost as much. As much as Eichel.
But I'm talking about injury related.
Mike, sure.
It's not about taking the risk on Tarasenko. It's about what they lost. Taking a risk on Tarasenko makes sense, but if you were to trade away Beauvillier and a first-round pick and Dufour, These are all three different things, three different assets that have increased in value since he left, and the person you've gotten right now is just a diminishing asset.
I don't know if that comparison's great because I would probably do that trade.
Okay, yeah, because I think it's gonna be a few years before DeForest sees NHL time.
I love Beauvillier, but if you got Tarasenko for him, goodbye.
I don't think the Blues would do that trade.
No, I don't think so either. Because honestly, we don't have an Alex Tuck. Like that was huge. Well, no, it wasn't Alex Tuck. My bad.
It was Peyton Krebs they gave up.
No, who'd they give up as well?
They gave up this year's first. They gave up Alex Tuck.
Oh no, I was right.
I believe a second for next year, if I'm not mistaken. It could be this year.
Comparable Alex Tuck.
So then,
comparable Alex Tuck.
I don't think we have one.
I was trying to give the closest comparable, but we don't have one.
You could say
that the Bo trade's a little different because
Pajot could be the comparable
comparison.
Pajot could be the comparable in this regard. In regards to this,
I would still do that then. I don't know. Whatever.
My final answer is I think they trade the pick.
I think it makes sense because they desperately need a lefty.
My overall outlook for the team is that Lou is not at all concerned with the forward core, and he is going to be desperate for defensemen. I think he probably moves the pick to acquire a D. That's my guess.
That being said, I do think he ends up signing Mikheyev eventually.
John, do you remember what we said last podcast?
Yes, I do.
Okay, can you tell Eric? Because I think mine was along with Eric. I think mine was they added a defenseman and that was it. I think I said Chikrin.
You said Chikrin.
That's it. That's all they're gonna do. That's what
Brandon said. I believe it was
Burakovsky and Vince Dunn.
Yes, Burakovsky and Vince Dunn, and I said Mikheyev and Mike Riley.
John is the fun one. Brandon's I have no idea how they're going to pull that off one. And mine is probably the most realistic. They're going to add a defenseman and Lou's going to be done, which is going to suck because they're not good enough.
Yeah. Why do you think they're going to get Mikheyev?
I think they're going to get Mikheyev because Toronto was actively shopping him, and we just signed the person that brought him to Toronto.
Yeah, I don't see any changes in the forward core. Not even a trade for Bailey.
Was Lou not a part of that?
Mikheyev to me feels like a compromise because it's not a big name. You don't have to spend a ton of money on it, and he still makes the forward core better. He's kind of like one of those depth signing that
more improved Beauvillier.
So who's leaving the forward core?
Bailey.
I don't think Bailey is leaving.
Why don't you think Bailey's leaving?
I just don't think he is. I don't think the return is there for him that they would be looking for, even if that's anything or like a 5th round pick or a 6th round pick. I think Lou will probably say to himself, I'd rather have Bailey than a 5th or 6th round pick.
You don't think Seattle would give you? You don't think Seattle would give you like a 4th?
I think if Lou knows this
Ottawa,
this fan base at all,
Buffalo.
If he trades the longest tenured Islander in the 50th anniversary season while he's selling nostalgia,
he doesn't care about that.
If he's I just don't think he's doing it. I think he doesn't see anything wrong with it.
He's the kind of person to really care about PR.
John, couldn't they just drop Martin though and keep Bailey in the line? I'm saying you could probably make everything fit.
But if you drop Martin, my guess is that Johnston is going to be taking his place.
Which is worse.
Yeah.
Oh, I had it where Johnston was our 13th forward with whoever else, and then if you add Mikheyev, and then you'd slide Parise to the 4th line. Parise, Cizikas, Clutterbuck would be really good.
No, you want Parise on the ice more than that.
If you draft Mikheyev, I think they bring back the triple P line. It would be Parise, Pajot, and Palmieri.
Who's playing 4th line then?
Ross Johnston, Cizikas, and Clutterbuck.
But then you have Mikheyev.
That's what it's gonna be.
But no, there's too many players then, because like you didn't get rid of Bailey. Bailey is still there.
I am taking all bets.
Assuming in this situation you get rid of Bailey.
I am taking any and all bets that indicate that the forward core is going to be anybody different than it was the last year or the year.
I say Bailey's got 2 more days as an Islander.
That would be fantastic. And I'm wearing.
I know a lot of people
more.
would be happy. I just don't think it's going to happen.
I don't think he's getting traded at the draft. I think he's going to be traded into free agency. But this is the guy who shipped off his players during picture day. So I don't think he cares about PR moves.
Listen, if Josh Bailey didn't get COVID this year, he would have reached 1,000 games regardless. I don't think Lou is going to keep Bailey for another year because he got COVID. Lou's not going to do that.
Even though they shopped Eberle, they were actively shopping Bailey as well during the expansion draft.
And Bailey was exposed too. So that should tell you what Lou thinks of Bailey. I'd be like, oh,
he's the odd man out.
And they were like, oh, but Lou just wanted to shed salary. I go, okay, then why didn't Lou expose Anders Lee then? Yeah. Lee wasn't exposed, and Lee had a no trade. No trade does not mean you have to be mandatorily protected. Bailey was exposed. Lee wasn't. Because Lee, for now, is not expendable with his cap hit yet. I think he will be soon.
It also involves just reading the room generally on, like, would there be interest in Lee and would there be interest in Bailey? Of course there'd be more interest in Lee.
With a $7 million cap hit though, with trade protection,
he's
a lot of people think
scorer.
And he's a captain
for now though. But he came off an ACL tear. You don't know what condition he was going to be.
If Phil ever listens to this, he'll laugh because I don't like Anders Lee's contract, but I think his desirability in the wider league is probably quite a bit more than Josh Bailey.
If you as the owners of the Islanders agree to eat his salary and that GM only has to take on the cap hit, that looks like a fucking steak dinner to most, like the Buffalo Sabres, the Ottawa Senators, the Arizona Coyotes.
Well, Bailey doesn't make Bailey makes less money than his cap hit, and he doesn't have any trade protection.
And that's why I think you can shed his salary without having that much of an issue.
I don't think it's going to happen without an extreme upgrade. So if they're not in on any of the top guys, which I don't think they're going to be, I don't think you see Bailey move. I just don't think you do. He's been too good in the playoffs, and Lou is just going to say, steady hand on the rudder, like, yeah, we should run it back with this team. He's just going to try and plug the holes on defense. Think that's it.
I think people are not saying just you, Eric, but I think a lot of people are overrating Lou's loyalty to everybody, because not saying you specifically, but a lot of people think that Lou has this Guard Snow Country Club mentality that if you've been around here for a while, I'm going to keep you no matter what. Lou fired Barry Trotz with 1 year left on his deal. He traded Devon Toews 2 years after signing him, exposed Eberle to Seattle 2 years after signing him, traded Nick Leddy, a Barry Trotz favorite, who he literally was raising his pom-poms about all season and in the playoffs. You could not find one single bad thing that Trotz would say about Leddy.
But he had to do all those things in the name of the cap. Like, all those trades were cap trades. Here, he's got room. He doesn't have a definitive upgrade. He has
room, but he's got to pay Dobson. Dobson's got to make his money.
Right, but he can keep this is the whole thing. He
has room, but he still wants to make moves. And depending on the moves you make, he's aware that he's not going to have room in the future. And that's why he sheds salary now.
The Lou theory of this team is keeping the team together. Is consistency with the roster. That is it. Like, it has happened at all costs, even at the cost of getting rid of Toews. But getting rid of Toews, getting rid of Leddy allowed him to keep the majority of the roster together.
That consistency was also predicated on us having success.
So
They
let me
didn't
ask
have
you.
success in
So,
this last
so let me ask you.
season.
So let me ask you. Why
who knows
expose
if he's
Bailey at
gonna be
all
a good?
then? Why expose Bailey at all then?
Because I think he didn't think anybody wanted his contract. I
So-
think
But
he knew he was safe.
Seattle already said that they wanted his contract
If they wanted it so bad, why didn't they take it?
because Eberle was exposed as well.
Eberle is a more talented person than
Yeah.
Josh Bailey.
They wanted both of
He
them.
is. He is. But
Then if you know that, then exposing Bailey means nothing.
But then why wasn't okay? Then you could.
If he knew they were taking Eberle, exposing Bailey means nothing.
Okay, then do you feel the same thing about exposing Anders Lee then in that case?
No, because you want Lee more than you want Eberle.
You want Lee more than you want Eberle. Eberle is making Eberle
on the Islanders. On the Islanders.
So you're saying Lou doesn't want his Bailey as much?
I think you want Eberle more than you want Lee, but clearly,
So
you
wait.
think that, but I don't think Lou. Again, it's about what Lou probably sees as the important pieces of the team, which is the captain, which is part of the consistency of the roster. He's just not a big move guy anymore. I don't think he's
had power struggles with players before though, like with Bill Guerin. Bill Guerin threatened to hold out because Lou didn't play him on the Olympic team.
Yeah, that's not this team. I think you're just going to see him plug holes if he can by a trade. You're not going to see any roster players move. You're just going to see picks and maybe a prospect or two traded for a defenseman. That's it. That's just my take. I could be wrong.
So, Eric, I think grumpy old man called. I think he wants his gimmick back.
I'm not grumpy about it. I just think that's what I see as Lou Lamoriello's philosophy, which like he brings in Trotz. Maybe Trotz tells him, "Look, this is a roster that can do X, Y, and Z if you just with the right direction." And then they do it for 2 years. So Lou is probably thinking, "Okay, this is a team that has this capability and can do it again." So changing as few pieces as possible, whatever that means. In this particular case, he has the cap room. There's no reason to change any of the roster positions other than acquire defensemen. And look, nobody would be happier if they upgraded the forward core with me. Nobody. I just don't think it's going to happen.
I think the forward group will get upgraded, but I don't think it's going to be a big splash that people are expecting.
I agree.
Yeah. Islander fans want Johnny Gaudreau, and me personally, it's a hot take, and I've said this on Twitter multiple times. I do not feel comfortable committing 11 to 12 million annually for 7 years to a 29-year-old UFA. I get that he would give you a good return on his first 2 or 3 years, but the back end of that deal gets very, very ugly. And it's something that the Maple Leafs are experiencing right now with Tavares. It's definitely something Montreal is experiencing with Carey Price right now. It's something the Rangers have been experiencing with the Panarin deal since they lost Buchnevich. For nothing, basically. For nothing. Well, that deal
was
terrible.
That was just a bad trade. That was just a bad trade. It wasn't necessarily because of Panarin.
If you're committing all your offseason effort to one signing for like a Johnny Gaudreau, and I don't think he's going to come here anyways because I think the Devils and Penguins just have more cap space to weaponize with.
Right. So this is my point. If you're not getting those top end guys, why would you change out one of our currently okay mediocre forwards for another just similar piece? You're just shifting the chairs around. Why not stick with the guy who's been in the room, who knows the system, who knows the guys he's playing with?
Is it the same system though? Is Lambert going to incorporate the exact same things that Trotz did?
I have no idea, but I don't have a lot of high hopes for it being anything other than what it has been.
I think it's going to be a more offensive-centric system. I do. I really do think that it's going to be there's going to be a focus on getting Barzal, Lembovillier, and Wallstrom and players like that more creativity and freedom.
I think with the hiring of Wiseman, who they got from Edmonton, the fact that he's more involved with working with youth and skill, I think that should tell you the direction that Lou and Lambert want this team to go in. They go, hey, they think certain players on the team, and this is my opinion. This is why Trotz was fired. When certain vets on the team have peaked, you need your staff to properly manage the youth. You need your staff to put youth in a position to succeed. And that with the hiring of somebody like Brian Wiseman, who's from a development perspective had a good reputation as a youth coach in Edmonton. He did. Now I don't get the Huda hiring. I mean, I get that he apparently worked with players like Krug and Moritz Seider, but Detroit's penalty kill was garbage the past few years. That was mind-boggling to me. Now, yes, it could be just it's Detroit and the Islanders. Yeah. The Islanders aren't as bad defensively, despite how bad they were this year. They weren't as bad as Detroit, so maybe that's this situation. I just feel like
their goaltending is also not nearly as bad as Detroit's as well.
Yeah, I know. Nedeljkovic didn't have that good of a year. Grice was bad as well. Grice was not good as well. But I just feel like with these hires and the fact that you fired Barry Trotz and the fact that for the past 3 off seasons, Lou has said that he wants to get a lot out of this youth as possible, singling out players like Dobson and Wallstrom as players involved in that ideology. So I think the firing of Trotz is the message that he's trying to say, and having someone like Lambert, who has reportedly had a good reputation of working with youth before, back in his days with the Milwaukee Admirals, he worked with players like Burakovsky, personally, like back in his days in the Capitals. Trotz and Burakovsky didn't really get along that well.
Your man crush transfer from Fiala to Burakovsky has been seamless.
No. I don't think
from one to the other without even blinking an eye. You forgot who Kevin Fiala was.
No.
Burakovsky, his picture was all over the wall.
No, Eric.
I do not think Burakovsky will be the player that Fiala is. I maintain that.
One name, Torrey Krug.
Oh, I'm not saying you did. I'm just saying you'd seamlessly transition to crushing on one to crushing on the next. And
I
were able to do that. I was worried that Fiala getting moved would really, really weigh you down, like hurt your feelings. But when
the trade did happen, I did consider having an intervention because it was pretty tough to cope with. But
LA can be your West Coast team.
You'll feel better.
I still like St. Louis in the West. I still like them.
As my final thought on the subject, I definitely think they're going to move the pick because I think Lou probably is feeling some pressure from ownership to put some wins on the board and like have a really good season since last season. The first season at UBS sucked. I think that he's probably going to be trying to upgrade as much as he can. And I don't think he's looking to add youth anywhere in the system.
What top player would you guys like to see the Islanders draft if they fall?
Oh, that's a good question.
I mean, for me, it's probably Joakim Kamel. I think he's ranked
be honest,
second
I don't know.
Skaters.
If he falls very far, I'm taking Frank Nazar.
Right.
If he falls to 13,
if he's available for us, I'm kind of thinking he would be.
He just has. I watched a bunch of his highlights. He just got that Pajot feistiness in him. He's a Pajot prototype in my opinion, and he's a center, and the team needs centers. You need centers in your organization. Worst case scenario, if they don't pan out as a center, you move him the wing.
Yeah. I mean, that was Garth's thing. You draft the centers. If they don't become centers, that's fine. At least they have a little bit of the pedigree.
Exactly. There's flexibility there. Like the Blues are a huge example of this. Look at their freaking center depth: Braden Shen, Ryan O'Reilly, Tyler Bozak, Barbashev. Who am I missing?
I think playing center in youth hockey almost shows a higher ability to think the game and like almost more of an ability to engage at a younger age, which is something that I'm sure teams look for.
If you're playing center, it kind of indicates that you're going to be a leader on the ice. You're going to be dictating play. Yeah. So that should basically indicate to anyone who's looking to draft that you're going to take more of a leadership role on the team and be a focal point.
That's why they go more than any other position, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Pretty much early. But
center is a much more important position.
Kamel, though, had 23 points in 39 games in Liga last year, which is very impressive for a kid who's, I think, 17. Or 6. Yeah, I think he's 17. That's phenomenal. I mean, that's why he's ranked second. He's 5'10", 185. Not huge. But, I mean, clearly he's playing with men and he's dominating. So, do you have anyone, John or Eric, that you would like to see fall?
Not particularly. I don't.
Yeah, me neither. Mine would have been Nazar, but I don't really consider him a fall.
Yeah,
I have, in this one I have from Bleacher Report, they have him in the 20s.
Yeah, after the top 7 or 8, it feels like it's a real crapshoot. Again, I hate to mention Phil as much as I am, but like that's straight from his mouth as well. That after the top couple guys, it's really just 6 to 5 and pick them.
I don't know about that because each draft I look at, it's like all over the place after the top 3.
Yeah, so you say it's even higher than that it's a crapshoot.
Oh no, I don't think. I think there's a solid amount of NHL potential players here. Sure, you're probably not going to get a first line player after. You're not even going to get a first line player with the first 3. In my opinion, there's a whole bunch of Shane Wrights there.
Yeah, it seems like a small tier 1 and a very, very large tier 2. So
like
interchangeable.
In my opinion, this is just my opinion. It's more of like a 1.5. You have a lot of guys here who I think are middle 6 NHL players, and that's exciting. If you have the pick, this Cutter Gauthier, however you pronounce it.
Yep, Gauthier. Yep.
I think it's 34 goals and 65 points among U.S. skaters.
Mike, I would just like to say that I admire your ability to get excited about middle 6 forwards, despite the fact that that's literally all the Islanders have almost ever had.
Look what jersey I'm wearing. Because in my opinion, they have a chance this offseason to go out and get a Gaudreau.
Mike, you are hired by Lou for that mentality.
Throw the blank check at him. Say, listen, buddy, we'll pay you $11.5 million. Get your ass on the island. Who cares? Who cares if he costs so much? You don't find players like that. All of a sudden, you don't have your first line player problem.
I agree. Teams I would love to see it. I just don't think it's going to happen.
But I'm just saying, most elite teams have 2 stars on their first line.
None of them making over $10 million.
You look at.
I really think the cost-effective option is the smarter one here.
Crosby, Gensel. You know what I'm saying?
Both making less than $10 million.
Crosby's going to the Avalanche.
Yeah, but Brandon, there's nothing you could do about that. Like you have.
I
to
understand. Just I'm harping on this a lot, but if you put Mikheyev, Barzal, Beauvillier on a line together, they would blow past literally everyone.
That's a lot of
They'd
speed.
be the fastest line in the entire league.
That's a lot of speed right there.
Offense alone, they would each be almost point per game players.
You need a strong. You need a strong defense to support that. Though.
Too much offense. Sorry.
No, you don't need that defense if you had Gaudreau. You put him in Barzal on the ice, the other team doesn't even touch the puck. I'm serious.
You can't outscore your problems all the time. Though. You need a strong decor, though. The team ranked.
Have that. They have 3 NHL defensemen who, in my opinion, are very good.
Okay, what about the other 3?
What happened to the Florida Panthers this year?
Don't give me Mayfield. Come on.
Mayfield's fantastic for his role.
As a stay-at-home guy, not a puck mover.
If he's your third pairing defenseman, you're doing a good job. If the Islanders were to go out and get Mike Riley and get Johnny Gaudreau, in my opinion, they're contenders.
The team ranked the team ranked 25th in expected goals against. The defense was a shit show this year.
That's because they had Chara playing 20 minutes a night.
Yes, and Trotz chose to bench Salo in favor of Chara.
I don't think Salo would have been a giant difference maker, but he split up Pulak and Pelech, which was unnecessary. You can't split them up if you have no one else.
You could have kept Pellick and Pollock and just kept Green with Dobson because that pair was killing it last year.
And they probably would have been middle of the league. That's what I feel like. What they did caused the team to crash and burn.
Green and Dobson was actually a very competent pairing because it worked. It worked last year, and then Trotz chose to deviate from that because
if Andy Green is playing next year, we failed. He's like 45.
He's 39. He's younger than I am.
Yeah, but I would still love to see.
I would still love to see Andy Green on this team. There were times when he looked like the best defenseman on the ice.
If he wants to be the seventh defenseman and like fill the water bottles, more power to him.
Yeah, 70 is fine. I would happily take it.
You need to have Pellick, a serviceable second lefty next to Dobson, and then Salo Mayfield, and you don't need Andy Green.
I think if you said if we signed Andy Green for $750, if that gets us Gaudreau with the money we saved, wouldn't you be okay with that?
I mean, sure, but you should be going out and getting either a Mike Riley, a Vince Dunn, a Jacob Chikrin, somebody to play lefty too.
Nick Hague.
I would not be okay with that, and there's a reason why. Look at what happened to the Florida Panthers this year. They have an offense that is much, much, much better than ours. And the second they went to the playoffs and played against the team with actual structure and depth, they got
a small sample size, though, John.
No, but this happens every year. Every year, you look at offense-centric teams, and they go, these teams are so talented. They have high-end talent.
Well,
they put so many goals, and they don't have structure, and they don't have defensive depth, and they get
the Islanders already have that, John. The Islanders already have that. They just.
But if you don't shore up that second left defenseman spot, no, they don't. If you're going into the season, Pellick, Pulak, Mayfield, and whoever, they don't have that, and they're going to fail.
But in my opinion, you have to throw at least an offer at these big UFAs, because if you don't, they're going to be gone.
I would much, much, much rather go into the season with, say, if you want to throw a lot of money at somebody, you know who makes sense for me? John Klingberg.
Out of our price range.
If he's the UFA that you're looking for,
I think
in the price range.
I don't think the Islanders have the money to afford Klingberg.
More than like Pellick and Pulak, you know that.
Yeah, right? I think Klingberg is a perfect fit for the Kraken. They all have been Kupchak and Alexiak there.
Not a right D. I want Letang.
I know it's a lot of money to spend on your defense, but if you find a way to trade Bailey away, you pick up Klingberg, and you get
the mythical Bailey trade
deal as your rent-a-forward. It works.
I just found out Jacob Middleton just signed a 3-year extension with Minnesota.
So he's
carrying a cap hit of under $3 million. Holy crap! Wow, that's a good deal by Guerin. Holy crap!
If Lou doesn't make an offer for any of these top UFAs, he failed. I don't care if you want him or not. You have to try. I mean, the ownership wants asses in the seats. You think UBS is going to be filling up this year if they don't do anything?
If they win, yeah.
Okay, so if Colorado has more cap space than us, if they offer Johnny Gaudreau that money and Philip Forsberg that money,
it's going to be a nightmare.
Did Sakic fail? Did Sakic fail if he didn't offer Gaudreau and Forsberg that money too?
If the argument is, do you want a sexy forward or do you want
Avalanche have $26 million in cap space? The Avalanche have $26 million of cap space. If Sakic doesn't offer Forsberg or Gaudreau the same money, does he fail too?
They just want a cup.
Okay, but still though, they have cap space to go
if
to
the
weaponize.
Islanders want a cup. I don't care if they signed like Lucic for $15 million. They want a cup. It doesn't matter.
You could kill Sakic for doing that though too.
Every year so far.
I gotta get a charger. Hold on, sorry, my phone's dying.
Wait. Also, just FYI, it's not going to be Klingberg because we have a right D. He's a right D.
Yeah,
well, I know, but I want Letang too. I understand what John is saying. You'd have to shift someone over. But honestly, if you're paying someone much money,
you would shift somebody over.
if you're paying that much
If you
money,
have
you go after
Klingberg, you ship
Letang.
off
Letang is
Mayfield.
far superior.
You guys are just in like dreamland. It's going to be Nick Leddy for like $2 million, and that's going to be that.
As a bottom pair, I wouldn't hate it if he was a bottom pair D. That wouldn't be a backbreaker. I would take Nick Leddy. Let me tell you something. I don't think Nick Leddy should be anywhere in the top 4, but if you put him on the bottom pair on a small 2-year deal, that's fine. That's manageable. I think the way Nick Leddy was used in St. Louis and in Detroit was completely negligent because he's not a top pair D. The Blues tried pairing Leddy with Parayko during the playoffs, and that ended up miserable for Leddy. Like, he was their worst defenseman because of that. He's not a top pair D. So if you're going to sign Leddy, you have to make sure he just stays on the bottom pair and goes nowhere else.
Hopefully this charges my phone.
Yeah, we can't lose you yet, Mike. We can't lose you.
I know.
Yeah, we have a little bit more time.
You want to start ranking the drafts before Mike gets cut out?
No, hold on. Let me just make sure it's charging.
But just to bookend this.
Okay, we're good.
The teams of the last few years won through defensive structure. They had offense, sure, but they worked with the sum of their parts.
Sure.
I don't think you need a sexy forward to make this offense work. I think what makes more sense for this team and what would bring them further in the long run is if you shore up that defense. You make that a priority, and then you can bring in a forward that can work with the offense and make it better.
I don't think there's a long run for this team, John. I think their window is literally these next few years, and then it's done. They need to.
No, I think there's a long run.
I don't see it. I mean, they don't have the center depth. What happens when Nelson stops scoring? What happens when Lee stops scoring? The team's dead in the water. They need a player who's gonna.
Their 10 best players have like at least 6 more years on their window.
Yeah, I don't think Beauvillier is going to be in a steep decline. Like Beauvillier shot 8%.
Beauvillier is going to be in a steep decline. I don't think Barzal is going to be in a steep decline.
Here's what you need. Here's what you.
I don't think Nelson's going to be in a steep decline for several years.
This is what you need. These are the ingredients that you need to be a contender. You need competent goaltending, at least competent goaltending. You need at least 2 30-goal scorers, and you need at least 4 more 20-goal scorers. And you need defensemen who can accumulate up to over 100 points. That's what you need. You need strong D, and you need consistency at forward. Look, again, I know Mike and John hate that I keep raving on about the Blues, and I actually did a trivia on this last week. The Blues had 9 20-goal scorers.
I get that, but
they're great. I understand. I think you're right.
They have 9 20-goal scorers.
Brandon,
no, they don't. They don't have 9 20-goal scorers. They don't have 9 20-goal scorers.
No, but if they added a Gaudreau, now they have a really good middle six. They have a great first line, and they can do whatever with the fourth line. And all of a sudden, you're probably going to see 30 or 40 more goals.
Yeah, but the Blues don't have a sexy superstar signing either, though.
They have Tarasenko. We need our Tarasenko.
He's making less than $8 million per.
It doesn't matter.
That was an RFA deal too, and he's only got 1 year left.
When you're in the second round of the playoffs and Gaudreau does not score, and we have no defense to shut the door.
I mean, but you could also bring up some Islanders that didn't score in the playoffs, and it's like, well,
there were a lot of them that didn't score, but we still won. Is the point? Because
you know what's weird? You know what's weird?
Everyone to score all the time.
You know what's weird? In the past 2 playoffs that the Islanders were in, until they faced Tampa, they actually had the most goals per game.
Yeah, they were scoring.
That was weird. That was very, very weird.
When you play structured hockey and you frustrate teams through a series, opportunities come. Transition offense was amazing.
Eric's having a good time right now.
The question is, in their 2 playoff runs, they scored way above what they were scoring at during the regular season. The question is that on purpose, or is that just a small sample size?
I think that's on purpose.
I think that's a small sample size.
Yeah,
it happened.
Playoffs are not a good indication. That's why I hate when people bag on Gaudreau like that. Because
when you're difficult to play against, teams generally
You don't think adding Gaudreau would make them
frustrated to play against you and make mistakes. And when those mistakes happen, you take over.
Adding Gaudreau would help, but then you lose out on depth signings.
Yes.
I feel like they have enough depth.
I don't think they do.
Their middle six is probably one of the best in the league if you add Gaudreau. Beauvillier, Nelson, Pajot, Palmieri, Wallstrom. That's got to be one of the best middle sixes in the league.
Yeah, what happens to your decor then?
They have to find a way to afford like a Mike Riley or something.
They don't have the money to do that if they sign Gaudreau.
If they move out Bailey and Varlamov, they do.
No, that's still not enough. Still not enough. I checked it on Cap Friendly. The Islanders would have less than $2 million of cap space after doing that. After trading away Varlamov and signing Thomas Greiss for $1 million, and then trading Bailey with no salary retention, and signing Gaudreau for $11.5 million per.
Did you count trading Varlamov?
No, I am trading Varlamov. And signing Greiss for $1 million.
That doesn't make sense to me because they have $12 million right now.
And you have to sign Dobson, who's going to cost over $4 million, and you sign Johnny Gaudreau. It's
you're trading. You're adding Gaudreau and removing Bailey and Varlamov, so the numbers kind of even out there. Then you're at Dobson. You have $5 or $6 million left to get a defenseman.
But you still have to make room. You still have to make room for your left-handed defenseman, who you have to add.
Your $4, $5, $6 million.
And then you have to have 3 depth signings on your team as well. So that's around another two.
Your fourth line is
not your fourth line. I'm talking about just like 3 healthy scratches. You need around 3 to give you flexibility in case someone gets hurt. That's nearly $3 million right there. That's not enough to add a decent second-pan left-handed defenseman. It's not, unless you buy out Anders Lee, which they won't do.
No, I think there's a way you can get all of what I want done without sacrificing anything besides Bailey and Varlamov. But that's a pipe dream. I get it. But if Lou
the whole point is Lou does not make tons and tons and tons of moves. He understands that this roster is built on chemistry. But it's not going to happen.
I understand that, but we also know for a fact that he tried to get Panarin. He takes those risks.
He offered 12.5 to Panarin. Can't blame him. Can't blame him.
Would have been a fantastic deal. When it's said and done, he's one of the best players in the league.
Rangers.
You can solve a lot of your other problems.
The Rangers media has kind of roasted Panarin this past playoffs.
I get it. He was bad in the small sample size because he was hurt. Whatever.
That's not a small sample size, though. He has not been good in the playoffs for a while when he's been in them.
He was hurt in the playoffs. I don't know what you want. I still think he's a top 10 player in the league.
No.
Panarin?
No.
100%.
Top 25.
Okay, so you're putting Panarin above McKinnon?
Putting Panarin would be in my top 10.
You're putting Sidney Crosby,
Are you putting Panarin above Makar?
Mitch Marner?
No, I would I would put him above Marner. I wouldn't put him above Matthews.
Ryan O'Reilly?
Yes, 100%.
What?
Ryan O'Reilly? This is Blues players. Get out of here.
Are you putting Panarin above Alexander Barkov?
He's arguably the best shutdown center in the league.
I can't believe there's a top 10 and you're putting O'Reilly over Bergeron.
No. I'm not putting O'Reilly there either, but I'm not putting Panarin above O'Reilly.
All right, John.
Are you putting Panarin in front of Barkov, Huberdeau, Matthew Tkachuk, and Elias Lindholm?
Braden Point.
Over Lindholm, yeah.
Nikita Kucherov?
It's tough.
Kucherov?
Yeah. Kucherov, no. Listen, Panarin would be around 10. He would be 9, 10, 11, 12.
Brad Marchand?
Definitely not.
I think you put him in like the top 25. I don't think he touches the top 10.
You got to remember, he had like 90 points the last year or whatever. He was amazing.
He's been up there. All right, guys, I got to go. But this was a lot. I know I'm terrible. This was a lot of fun. I'll be on again. Take care,
Eric.
Be good.
Take care, buddy.
All right, Eric's gone, so we're gonna do the draft now. He didn't want
and then there were 3.
You guys excited though? You ready to do this?
Yes.
Sure.
to finish up the
How far
podcast.
back are you planning on going?
2010.
12 years? Oof, okay.
And I want you guys to give it a rating out of like, I don't know. Hold on, let me get Notepad out so I can actually rank these drafts, and I'll tell you at the end what we put everything.
You guys talk and figure that out. I'll be back in 2 seconds.
Okay. Come back in 2 seconds. What do you think, Brando? Should we rate it at a 10, out of 5, a letter grade?
Oh, the letter? No, I would do a letter. I wouldn't do a number.
So like A+, A minus, B+.
Yeah. Are you saying are you grading the draft like overall or how the Islanders did?
For us,
Oh, okay.
the Islanders.
Oh God.
That's overall for the draft is too much work. The Islanders one is a lot more fun.
Oh, so I'm actually right now. I'm actually on Cap Friendly, trying to present the remaining cap space, if you will. From
I don't understand how you can't make it work if you substitute Varlamov and Bailey for Gaudreau.
Let's see. Sign UFA.
To me, that's almost the same number. It's maybe $1 million more. $1.5 million, whatever.
I think you're not taking into consideration the depth signings that the Islanders have to put in their salary cap too, though. They need your 3 healthy scratches are going to take up nearly $3 million in space as well.
Not if they're like Holmstrom and.
You think Holmstrom's going to be a healthy scratch?
Or he'll be in, and you'll have Johnston and I guess Matt Martin. There's your 3.
All right, so after signing Johnny Gaudreau, the Islanders have $10 million in cap space, but I also have to sign Thomas Greiss. Let's say he'll cost $1.25 million maximum.
Okay, I don't think they're going to get Greiss, but go ahead.
No, I'm just saying like the cheapest option possible.
I could honestly see them giving it to like Skarek. I know that's probably not a safe bet.
Oh no! Please don't do that.
He was very affordable.
Oh, he was not good at all.
Tampa won the cup with McElhinney as their backup. I mean, I don't believe in this 2 goalie system bullshit. You're either going to win with your goalie or you're not. I don't like that 2 goalie thing. All right, not many teams win that way. Not many.
All right, so after the Greiss signing, they have now $9 million in cap space, and I would put Matt Martin as one healthy scratch. I need 2 more healthy scratches. Dobson's probably going to cost me around 4. He's probably going to cost around 4 because I don't think he's going to get a long-term deal.
Okay.
They also have to sign Bellows as well. So let's do $4 million. Let's say I'll give him a 2-year bridge. That's probably what Dobson will get because he doesn't have arbitration rights, and they're not going to. If anything, the one defenseman who I think the Islanders are going to, not the Islanders, but the one defenseman who I could see really being offer-sheeted would be Rasmus Sandin from Toronto.
That would be interesting.
Because they can't, unless they trade away Muzzin, which for some reason their media chooses to overrate. I don't see a way Toronto could just shed Muzzin's cap hit like that. Yeah, so I think I see Rasmus Sandin being an easy cap casualty, easily. All right, so after the Dobson bridge deal, they have $5 million in cap space. So let's bring back Bellows at around. Let's do $1 million and 150. Let's do that.
I think he'll get $1 million, but okay.
No, but again, he's probably gonna want a few more bucks on him. You know, he was a little bit under half a point a game. That's respectable.
No, I know.
Player incentives.
All right, so I have Bellows in the lineup. So I'm down to I have $4 million in cap space. I need 1 more healthy scratch. I didn't even get to the left side of defense yet. So let's go to UFA. Let's bring back Cesarnik for $900K.
That's fine.
Let's bring back Cesarnik for $900K because he should be in the lineup. He should be their Tanner Fritz, basically. So let's do $900,000. Let's do it for 2 years. So that's your 3rd healthy scratch. You are now at around $3.2 million, and the Islanders still need 2 parts of their left-hand defense.
What about Salo?
All right, let's sign Salo now. Sal's an RFA. Sal's probably going to get between $850 to $900K.
Yeah.
Because he was pretty pissed off with being at Bridgeport, collecting minor league salary. So Lou is probably going to compensate for that. So let's give him $900K. Let's give him $900K for 2 years with guarantees that he'll be in the NHL. So now the Islanders have, and mind you, they still have a massive hole to fill. They have $2.3 million in cap space. That's not enough. That's not enough. Now, if you want to buy out Anders Lee, then that would put you at around.
They're not doing that. They're not going to buy out their captain.
I'm just saying, if they do, though, that puts them at $6 million in cap space. So then you could afford a Mike Riley cap hit by trade and a depth signing.
I really don't want to lose Beauvillier, but like if they were to get Gaudreau, I could see like a Bailey and Beauvillier trade, which would I don't think it would be good, but.
Wait,
what?
what?
Have the cap space, but
there you go. I just did
the like Chikrin from Arizona, Bo, Bailey, and a first. Done.
That would not. I don't think Arizona would say yes to that.
They need to fill out their roster, though. That's my thing.
I don't think either team would say yes to that.
Yeah, I don't think the Islanders would say yes to that either, because Chikrin only.
If they get Gaudreau, there you go.
I'd rather target Vince Dunn because at least he has RFA rights. Chikrin will be a UFA in 3 years.
Yeah.
So if you get Vince Dunn via trade, you could commit long term to him and get multiple years of control under him. Chikrin only has 3 guaranteed years.
I really thought there was a way that I don't understand how teams like Toronto afford Marner, Tavares, and Matthews for 11.
They don't, because they lose Connor Brown, they lose Nazem Kadri. And they lose Connor Brown. They lose.
Is fine though. They were one of the highest scoring teams in the league last year. They were like top 3.
They lost Nazem Kadri. Let's see. They've lost Freddie Anderson, who was good.
They signed Kasha, who was better than like anyone in our bottom 6.
Yeah, but Kasha can't stay healthy.
But still, I mean, how many opportunities do the Islanders get to sign guys like that? Like I don't know. Like
I don't want Kasha on my team. He can't stay healthy. He can't stay healthy.
When he is
healthy, I don't
sick.
want Kasha on my team. I'm sorry.
Whatever. When he's healthy, he's sick.
Okay, great. How many games has he played the last 2 years?
Okay, everyone wants Chikrin, and he's hurt all the time.
I don't want Chikrin either.
I'm not you, but in general, like Twitter.
Yeah,
Chikrin has been far healthier than Kasha.
With that guy, Brandon, who wanted to trade Bo for him. We thought Bo was useless, and I'm like, you are overrating Chikrin by a lot. Like, I don't think he's worth it.
Yeah, and then the dude yesterday said that Beauvillier should be on the third line because he should be producing when he's playing with wingers whose primary skill set is to distribute or your other scorer, but he can't skate. You know that how are you going to properly evaluate Beauvillier in that scenario? You can't.
I find it interesting that he somehow didn't have more points last year because, in my opinion, he and Nelson were bread and butter. They were excellent together. You know, I understand Bo wasn't finishing his chances, but I mean, man, like he'd win the puck, send it over to Nelson, we get a shot or two up.
Ideally, I would stick Beauvillier with Barzal. I don't know why they've deviated. I don't know why Trotz deviated from that.
I think there's a good chance you see that next year, Brandon. That could very well be our top.
Like you. Okay, so Trotz did put Beauvillier with Barzal, but why was Bailey on the opposite side? That's literally counterintuitive to how you.
It makes no sense.
Because
hopefully that never happens again because that was absolutely terrible. And
it makes no sense.
Bailey had like 2 goals in like a 3-month span, and that absolutely killed Barzal's stats.
It doesn't make sense because Barzal is supposed to be the primary playmaker. You can't have 2 primary playmakers on a first line. Third line, sure, because you want to have possession, but that doesn't make sense.
All the time. Barzal, people yell at Barzal for not shooting. He finished with double the amount of shots that Bailey did last year. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Me personally, my first line, assuming we don't get Mikheyev or Burakovsky or whatever, I would do Beauvillier, Barzal, Palmieri.
Yeah,
you have 2 players with speed and distribution. You have 2 players with speed and distribution, and then you have Palmieri, the attacker. That's how you make. How you construct the 5-on-5 line.
I'm just saying, when you guys are so anti-Gaudreau, like, you realize, like, that would be a huge part of Islanders history. We haven't been able to sign a UFA, like, ever like that.
Yeah, but most of these teams end up suffering on the back end of these deals anyway.
I understand that, but eventually that's going to change because the salary cap's going to keep rising.
Not as much as you think, though.
We don't.
I mean, we've had a flat cap the past 2 off seasons. This year, it only went up $1.5 million. That's not much.
All right, are you guys ready to do the draft? Are you ready?
Yeah, let's do this. I'm ready.
Would you guys like me to go over each player and how many points they have at the NHL level?
What, for the Islanders?
Yes, that we drafted.
Okay.
Just to help with your rating. So 2010, they drafted Nino Niederreiter 5th. Then they drafted Brock Nelson 30th. I think that's phenomenal start. And then it was Kabanov, Jason Clark, Tony DeHart, and Cody Rosen. None of them ever played in the NHL.
So that's
in my opinion, I'm still giving that like an A-, because Brock Nelson is an elite second line center, and Nino Niederreiter is a great top 6 forward who can score. So
are you basing that trade on? Are you basing that draft on what happened following the draft with those players, like Nino getting traded for Clutterbuck?
I think no. I'm just overall how good were the players?
Like, the players themselves.
Draft, like,
yeah. Wouldn't it be fun?
Say A-. I don't know. Wouldn't
it be funny? I'll give it a B.
Okay, B.
If we're not counting like the fact that Nino didn't play for us at all, I guess we can say that that's a B. But
okay.
I feel like because Nino didn't play for us at all, I have to give that like a C or even a D.
Do you guys want to do this in regards to the Islanders or in regards to what the talent they drafted?
What do you mean?
I feel like you have to do it in regards to the Islanders.
Like Brandon, you said all aspects involved, how they helped the Islanders out, because that changes my grade.
Yeah, so, I feel
I'm gonna say
because it's not just how it was drafted; it's how they were developed and what they did with them as well.
So I'm gonna give it a B.
The reason why is because I like it when you can hit on the later rounds too.
No, that's fair. And the Islanders certainly didn't here. So if you're looking at just value alone, it's pretty much the Brock Nelson draft.
Yeah, it's the Brock Nelson draft.
I would still say it's a B, like you said.
Yeah.
All right, so John, you're thinking it's a C?
Yeah, I'm gonna say C.
It's fair if you're you can do C+, C-. By the way, I don't know if you
the C+. That's fine.
C+. Okay, I would like to look at the overall grades, and so overall we're kind of around B- territory there for that draft overall in our opinions. So 2011 was 5th overall again, Ryan Strome, 34th Scott Mayfield, then Johan Sundstrom 50th, Andre Padan, Robbie Russo, John Person, Brendan Kitchton, and Mitchell Thirot. A bunch of these guys played in the NHL, but really the only big names here are Strome and Mayfield. I'm probably giving this one a C.
Yeah, I'll give it a C too.
Okay.
Yeah, C-, just because Mayfield is the only really positive acquisition here as far as the Islanders go.
That's a good acquisition, but it's certainly
it is. But if you're getting the 5th overall pick, you need a better acquisition than Ryan Strome.
So yeah, overall that one is a C from us. 2012 was Griffin Reinhart, Billy Polka, Adam Pellick at 65, Louis Leduc, Doyle Summerby, Jesse Graham, and Jake Bischoff. So
now remember, if we're talking in terms of the Islanders,
this one's an
Griffin Reinhart was turned into
Matthew Barzal.
And Jake Bischoff was packaged in a trade for their Vegas Golden Knights to take J.F. Berube instead of one of our key forwards and defensemen.
Are we giving this one the A? Or
I'll get
Yeah,
give it.
In that sense, I think it's an A.
All right, no A+, but it's not an A+ because there was no other big hit. But Adam Pelech in there is huge. I mean, that was massive.
They got to keep Pelech, and they got Barzal out of it.
So we'll try to remember some of those details. If you guys need me to look anything up, I can. 2013 is also kind of exciting.
That was the Ryan Pollock draft.
Ryan Pollock 15th. We had Eamon McAdams 70th, who I believe we traded recently.
Yeah, that was when we traded with Toronto 4 years ago to get Matt Martin.
Yup. So that helped. Yeah, Matt Martin was good in the playoffs. You have to admit, he had those 5.
He was.
Taylor Camerata, who I still think we have. Steven Williams, Victor Cruz Rydberg, I remember him. Alan Quine.
Game 5 hero.
Did score a huge goal for us in the playoffs.
Yup. And Kyle Burrows. I'm giving this one an A-.
B+.
I'll give it a B+.
All right, so overall we're in B+ territory for that one. I think having Pulak and Quine there in the same draft, and then also moving guys like Eamon McAdams for Matt Martin, which worked out at the time. You have to admit that's a pretty solid draft. It's not as good as 2012, but it was definitely very solid.
Next year's going to get very ugly.
Yeah, 2014 sucks. There's no way. But there is one thing, in my opinion, that makes it a higher grade than you think. Michael Dalcole was 5th. Josh Ho-Sang was 28th. In my opinion, he played in the NHL. That's not really a bad late pick. But Ilya Sorokin, I forgot. This is the Ilya Sorokin draft. It's not a bad draft.
That has to bump it all the way up to a B.
Ilya Sorokin was 78th. Then we picked Linus Soderstrom, who I think never played for us.
Yeah, they didn't qualify him 2 years ago.
Then Devin Tays at 108. Kyle Shem and then Lucas Sutter, who didn't do anything. But my opinion, this is an A-.
Telling you, it gets uglier and uglier.
I don't think so. They ended up getting Sorokin and Taves out of it.
If they did not get rid of Taves, this is the A+ jackpot draft.
100%, but it's not.
But getting rid of Taves means it might be just an A- for me.
Yeah, I can say I'm in.
I'm giving it a B- because they just they whiffed on the first round.
You're right.
Like you picked Dal Call and Ho-Sang over players like Nikolai Ehlers.
Well, no, not.
But if
not
they
Ho-Sang,
said
right?
that, Brandon.
No. Dal Call was picked above Ehlers.
Brandon.
Yes. So
if they managed to get,
the Islanders traded up to pick Ho-Sang, though, if I remember correctly.
I get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
With the way things worked out, if they got Taves and Sorokin in the first round of the draft, do you view this draft differently?
Probably, yeah.
But
Probably.
here's the thing, too, John.
But they got them. So what's the point?
Could still become an NHLer. We don't know for sure yet.
He's not. He's not.
What if he turns into a fourth liner, John, who scores 15 goals a year?
He can't skate.
Neither can Matt Martin.
Is he a defensive liability?
Matt Martin's a better skater than Dal Call.
I don't think so.
He is a little bit.
Well, a little bit. Overall, we're giving that a B+ overall in the draft, and that could completely change in the future. I'd love to come back and do these.
Yeah.
Sure.
2015.
Oh, this is a good one.
Yo, it was phenomenal. Ready? I think this is your A+. Barzal at 16. Beauvillier at 28. Van de Sample at 82. Wotherspoon at 112. Ryan Pilon at 147. An Dong Song at 172. And Peter Hansen at 202. Now, I understand the only big names here are Barzal and Beauvillier.
But those are two huge names.
And Wotherspoon are both in our system still.
This has to be an A.
Better than that.
I think one of them is not going to get qualified by Lou.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's either going to be Wotherspoon or Van de Sample, but Lou is not going to qualify one of those two.
So John,
this is the draft where you drafted your cornerstone center.
I'm giving it an A.
And
I'm giving it an A.
one of your more productive winners.
Because you got
I
legitimate
think it's an
because you got legitimate NHL talent on the first round, and
That's
it's
what
top
matters
six,
the
and
most.
it's top six, and it's top six talent that you got too.
Franchise level talent.
If you guys were judging the draft by late round success, this is probably an F. They didn't do well, it's not an F. It's more like a C or a B. But
yeah, because you don't
opinion,
expect them to do anything with late round success.
But when a team does, that's when you give it a high grade, right? Like,
Exactly.
that's a huge part
For
of
me,
it.
yes.
But Barzal and Beauvillier make up for that. You drafted two cornerstone players in the system. One of them scored one of the biggest goals in Islanders history, honestly. That doesn't come from the cup years. Let's be honest. That game 6 overtime winner was huge. And then Barzal is like our franchise player. So I mean that's an excellent draft. So A is fair. It's right up there with 2012 for us. Then 2016 is ugly.
The Keeper Bellows draft, yes.
Ugly.
Yes.
Bellows 19th, which is like, okay, something. And then you have Golashev, Koivula, Adams, Pastuhov, and David Quenneville. To me, that is in my opinion, it's a C.
Koivula can still become something.
I'm giving it an E. I can't give it an F, but
there's no E. It's got to be D or E, D or F. So you're giving it a D.
Hey, why can't I can't give it an E? All right,
No,
I'm giving it a D then.
All right.
Because your top.
He
your
wants
first
to give
round,
it an F+.
Your first round, no. I can't give it an F because Bellows may be
no, but
a
that's
potential
what I'm saying.
mid-six player.
It's not an F.
If
an
Bellows
F+.
wasn't doing anything right now, this would be an F draft. Bellows is the only reason I haven't. I think I'm going to actually give it a C- because
Bellows has potential. I really do think Koivula still has potential.
So what are you giving this?
A D.
Oh, wow. But that's still lower than me, John.
Because I think that in order to, like, if your draft 6 years out has not produced any NHL level talent, it's a failure. There's potential there.
And you
but
chose.
C for me would be Bellows making the team.
You chose Bellows over Tage Thompson.
Yes. Here's the thing, though. When we get to 2019, it's going to be more of our future thoughts because it's only
because then they don't have time yet to have developed. That's fair.
So far, though, 2016 was our worst draft since 2010. That's not good, because that's pretty recent. 2017.
We didn't have a first rounder.
It's a little bit better, but we didn't have that many picks, so I'm gonna, judge that accordingly. We picked Robin Salo in the second round, 46th, which I think is pretty good so far from what I'm seeing. He looks like at least a bottom pairing NHL defenseman, promising. Ben Migras, not much out of him. Sebastian Aho was picked in the 5th round here. Arnaud Durando.
It's like AHL depth, but it's a good pick for the 5th round.
Durando and then Cockerill in the 7th round. I'm giving this one a C. I think that's fair.
That seems fair. Yeah, I'll say C.
I'm giving it a C because they just didn't have a first rounder.
Yeah.
So I
take that into account.
It feels inconclusive, really, and I understood why they didn't have
enough options, but they also didn't really do a lot with the options that were presented to them.
It's still tied for the second worst draft since 2010. So they didn't do a good job. So 2018. Ooh, this one might
it's a Jekyll and Hyde draft.
Yeah. So
it's
Wahlstrom and Dobson back to back.
That's very good. Yeah.
Bodie Wild at 41, who looks like a nothing. Ishikov at 43, Jacob Sherrick at 72, Pavanka 103, Jenkins 134, Krieger 196. I'm going to give this one a B+.
I'm giving it a B+ because I have long-term hopes for Scarrick, but I don't have them short-term. I think Scarrick will actually become a decent backup.
This is getting close to the 2019 rules where we don't know for sure yet.
Yeah, that's the thing. To me, if Wallstrom turns into the player that we want him to be,
the grade
it
goes
can go
up.
into the B plus A minus territory.
The
Right
grade
now,
would
I
go
think it's a
up.
B.
Yeah. So you're giving it a B?
Oh no,
Yeah.
I gave it a B plus.
No, you gave it a B plus. John's giving it a B. So overall, that one gets a B plus. All right. So 2019.
Every Islanders favorite first rounder.
Yeah. We drafted Simon Holmstrom 23rd, Samuel Bolduc 57, Reese Newkirk 147, Felix Bibo 178, and Cole Koski 209. As of right now, I'm giving this one a C plus. I was never happy.
I gotta go like C plus as well, just because it doesn't really seem like they've really anybody has established themselves as the next NHLer in that group.
Nope. But they could, so you got to give it a little bit of.
And I think Holmstrom is the only one that really is. I have hope that might.
This could very well be a draft in the future that we give an F.
Could be.
All of those players miss, it's an F.
It could either be an F or a B, depending on how Bolduc pans out.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Because people actually forget, like, and I know, like, from a productive standpoint, Bolduc didn't have his best season. He was hurt for a majority of this year. He was hurt in training camp before the season started, and he just had. We still don't know the full details of it, but it seems like he had a lingering injury all season long. And when he had that 23-game stint, when he was just playing nothing but the Wolfpack and the Providence Bruins during 2021, he was good. He was very good. So I'm going to give Bolduc a pass because it seems obvious that he was struggling with an injury all season long. And hopefully that clears up before next year and we get to see him with a clean slate. With Holmstrom, I think Holmstrom's ceiling is mid-6 if utilized properly. I don't think he'll ever be a top 6 forward.
Gotcha.
But I can't give it an A or an F. I can't give it a B or an F because it's just inconclusive right now. It's too soon.
What is your ranking as of now?
Now I'm giving it a C plus.
Okay, so we all agreed on the score. That was easy.
That's the first time that's happened.
Yes. And now we're on 2020, so this is getting very opinionated. Very opinionated. We drafted Alexander Lundkrantz. You have to remember, we didn't have a pick until the 3rd round, though. So you have to temper your number with that. Alexander Lundkrantz was drafted in number 90. Doesn't look like he's going to be anything, sadly, right now. But Alex Jeffries it's William DeFore at 152. That's that exciting pick. And then Matthias Rajaniemi and Henrik Tikkanen that they just released. In my opinion, if Dufour hits it all, this draft is an A. So
I would say right now it's probably a B minus. But if he becomes an NHLer, it's a
B minus. I agree.
Right now, I'm giving it a C minus because Dufour seems to be the only promising pick in the later rounds.
That's a C plus overall.
Maybe Jeffries could be bottom 6, but I mean, people were saying.
But Brandon, do you expect anybody else to be an NHL ready player from those picks that high?
If you even hit on one of those players, it's a successful draft. When you don't pick in the first
I think so, yeah.
It's like, to me, that's an A. You know, if Dufour ends up at a middle 6 winger, that's an A because you didn't pick anywhere higher.
Dufour looks like somebody that you could realistically be successful with as a late round pick.
We lost
right now,
like an Anders Lee.
You have to look at that as
we lost the first and the second. We lost the first and the second from the Pajot trade, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I believe so. Or what? Or did we lose one from Pajot and one from Green?
No, I think Green was like a 3rd.
Or was Green's the 2nd round pick that they gave to trade for Green the following year? I think it was the following year.
Okay.
You ready for 2021?
That's the
I really like what they did here. I think this one could end up being a very high rank from us. They picked Aatu Räty 52nd. Mm-hmm. They picked Tristan Lennox 93. I thought that was kind of an odd pick, but it is what it is. They picked Cameron Berg 125, who's a center. They picked E2 Lucas 157. and they picked Alexei Malinin and Thomas Machu in the end. Right now, I'm giving this a B+.
I think E2 actually, because I actually watched a good amount of film from him. He actually looks like he could be a fourth liner. He's got that feisty attitude that you need from a bottom six special teams player. He needs to work on his skating, but if he could just fix that, like he could actually be a decent fourth liner for this team in a couple of years.
For me, though, just in my opinion, Aatu Ratu carries this. If he ends up more successful, my grade's just going to go up. I mean, the fact, once again, we only picked in the second round and later, and he's now basically ranked in top 10 prospects around the league.
I actually like the Tristan Lennox selection.
You did?
Yeah, you need goalie prospects, and what if Skarek doesn't pan out? Lennox had that one. Lennox did have that injury this year, but he was fine. He was fine this year. I don't think he'll ever be Sorokin, but I don't think most goaltenders in AHL are Sorokin. But
you don't really need, like, if you're picking a goalie in the third round plus, you don't really need him to be Sorokin. You need him to be like a starter for your AHL team.
That's all you need. Yeah. That's all you need, and that's fine.
A backup would be great.
Yeah.
So, what are you guys ranking it? I gave it a B+.
I'm gonna say A-. Okay.
I'm giving it a B+ too.
Okay, so overall it's a B+, but I mean that's still a great grade, and honestly, that'll go up if any of those players hit. You know what I mean? At all.
That's the thing. I'm kind of in the camp of Aatu Ratu looks like he's going to be an NHL player right now. I don't know if he's going to be like a star per se, but it looks like he's going to be an everyday NHL player eventually.
So, would you like to find out why the Islanders were good enough to get to the Lightning and then not good enough to beat them? The only drafts that we ranked above a B+ were 2012 and 2015 in the last 12 years.
That's bad.
Then you have 2013, 14, 18, and 21 that all ended up as B+. That's probably why the Islanders were able to get to the Lightning. Then you have 2010, 2011, 2 big years that they bombed on. I mean, we gave one of them a B-, but that's not good enough overall, especially when they had as many picks as they did. Then you have
they were high picks too.
Yeah. 2010, 2011, 2016, 2017, and then what's scary is we already have the 19 and 20 drafts as bad drafts. Mediocre at best.
It's not good.
No. And that is why the Islanders prospect pool is so barren. You can't have 2016, 2017, 2019, and 2020 as all mediocre or worse drafts. That's not going to bode well for the system.
Even the 2019 draft was also pretty questionable as a league. You know, like Kakko was picked second overall.
Yeah.
You know,
oh, that was incredible.
And 20,
right?
Yeah, no, this was the year before COVID.
Really? Oh,
yeah.
COVID?
Yeah. This was the Houston Kakko year.
Yeah, I was at the Offside Tavern when that Holmstrom pick was announced.
I was very upset.
People were like, "What?"
It's funny because I haven't been as upset the last few drafts, but 2019 scarred me.
I like 2020. Lafreniere was ranked first overall, but yet Lucas Raymond so far has outperformed him. You know, it happens, but. The consensus from the past, from like 19 and 20, everything was just evaluated poorly league wide.
2020's, in my opinion, is a lot more interesting than 2019. Though I feel like a lot of 2019, we kind of know what the guys are. Bolduc could change that, but I mean, with 2020, you have Dufour and Lundkrantz and Jeffrey.
He's got to be Bolduc's got to be healthy next year.
Yeah,
you can't. We can't evaluate him. We could evaluate him if he just can't stay healthy. But like, I want to see how he is fully healthy next year. I want to see how he is, and I think he's going to get opportunities because I don't think Lou's going to qualify one of Waterspoon or Van der Sample. I think one of them is going to go. I probably Waterspoon if I would have to guess, because I think Van der Sample is a little bit better than him. A little bit.
I'm writing this for our future selves on Twitter when we go back and look.
Yeah, this could either age this could age like wine or like milk on Friday.
It's true. It's true.
Because aren't we going to find out by Monday who Luke qualifies and doesn't qualify?
I think so.
Yeah, I think it was reported on Monday that we were going to find out.
I'm super excited for the draft. There's always a ton of drama. I'm hoping for some trades this year. It's going to be fun.
I think there's going to be trades happening.
I think so,
I
too.
think there's going to be more than there usually are.
A lot of people are actually thinking that Marc-Andre Fleury is going to sign with the Blues.
Why?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah, because they're not going to keep. They're not going to keep Husso.
But they have Binnington.
Unless they aim to move on from that.
Why would they keep Binnington? Wait, sorry. Why would they not keep Husso and move on from Binnington? Like, I would think in the Blues situation, it's kind of a one or the other thing. If you want to move on from Binnington, you're definitely keeping Husso.
According to the St. Louis Blues beat reporters, they haven't had any talks with Husso.
Which means, in my eyes, that they're planning on making Binnington the star, and they don't want to pay Husso the money that he would be worth.
Is he worth it, though?
He had a very good year last year.
Not very good in the playoffs, so he was bad.
For a young goalie, that's kind of understandable. Like, I can see past it. First time, I get it.
I mean, if you're a Blues, you got to make money for other players. You have to save up for Ryan O'Reilly's extension because you got to keep him.
Yeah.
Do you want to keep Tarasenko? Tarasenko's probably going to get traded this offseason. Probably.
Yeah, most likely. But I understand that you can't afford Husso, but that's what I think it is. I don't think it's that they don't like him and they don't think that he's worth it. I just think he knows he's going to be looking for a certain amount of money, and they're not going to be able to give it to him, and they're not going to want to give it to him.
I just think he just comes across as a flash in the pan. He just gives me Andrew Hammond vibes.
Who?
Husso.
Husso? Yeah.
Yeah, he just gives me like that regular season hero mentality for that one stretch, and just becomes irrelevant afterwards.
Binnington kind of gives me those vibes a little bit.
Apparently, the Devils are linked with Husso, which would be. I hope the Devils overpay Husso by a lot. I hope they give him $4+ million. I hope they do that.
Like, to me, Binnington seems like a goalie where he might go on like a 3-week or a month streak where he's fantastic. But by and large, overall, he's not the most consistent goalie in the league.
No, he's not. I don't think he's a top 10 goalie in the league. He played like one in the playoffs, but I don't think overall he's a top 10.
I think he has moments where he's fantastic, but overall, if you're asking me which one I trust more, it's Husso.
What, overall? I can't put Husso above Binnington. He hasn't proved it consistently yet. He had a small stretch. Binnington had a much longer stretch. And
but
he honestly
Binnington's also had much longer stretches of poor play.
And Husso just had a playoff stretch of poor play compared to
But
Binnington.
that was a very small sample size.
I would not overpay him. Buyer beware. Buyer beware.
If you can get him for $3 million right now.
You ready? You guys ready?
I am not paying Husso $3 million. No way.
Really? Oh, I think he's
no way. No way. I am not giving him $3 million. No freaking way.
My God, this is funny.
What happened?
Trivia. You guys ready to start trivia?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, give me 1 sec. Let me just make sure I have it, and it's gonna be fun. I'll try to throw some hints so you guys have a chance of getting it. It's actually scary.
Well, while you're looking yours up, then if you want, I'll ask mine.
Okay, no, go ahead.
Phil just said 2016 is an F, 2017 is a D+ at best. Regard the draft grades. That's funny. I mean, I wouldn't blame him for giving it an F because you chose Bellows over Tage Thompson. It's
but by the way, John, your stream isn't on Twitter, so I guess we'll figure that out after.
Oh yeah, it didn't really connect. I guess I have to maybe record, add it to it afterwards or something. We'll figure that out for the next one.
You got to put it on YouTube.
All right, John, you go first. I'm just looking at mine.
Okay. So, out of the players that would be eligible for the Hall of Fame, which player that is not currently in the Hall of Fame has the most goals?
Wait, can you repeat that question?
Out of the players that would be eligible currently to be in the Hall of Fame, which player not currently in the Hall of Fame has the most goals of all the players not currently in the Hall of Fame?
Is it Alexander McGillney?
No. I know that name has been thrown around a lot because everybody's like, how does he not in the Hall of Fame? But it's not him.
Really? Shit. I mean, that was my guess. He's probably the most points.
Probably.
Pierre Turgeon?
I have not looked that up. What?
Pierre Turgeon?
No.
Ooh.
He's not in the Hall of Fame, is he?
No, Pierre Turgeon's not in, which is mind-boggling.
Is LaFontaine?
No. I'll give you a hint.
No, is LaFontaine in the Hall of Fame? Do you guys know?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. It's not LaFontaine, though. I will give you a hint. He actually is top 40 in goals all time. He's within the top 40.
Oh, no, LaFontaine is in the Hall of Fame. Okay.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, 2003.
What about LaFontaine?
No, I said LaFontaine.
It's not LaFontaine.
Okay, I'm going to do my second guess, though. I didn't guess LaFontaine. I guessed Alexander McGillney.
No.
I want to say, that's not a good one, though. He would definitely be in. I was going to say Keith Tkachuk.
That's correct.
Did I actually get it?
Yeah, he's not in. And he is number 31 all time.
Bro, what a guess.
Wow.
That's a pull.
Oh, man, I'm sorry, Brandon. I just completely...
See, I thought Brandon was going to get it.
Wow.
Guy.
Wow.
I finally beat Brandon in something.
That was impressive.
All right, I'm next. You ready for mine? You guys are going to really need help with this.
Okay.
What were the two worst Islander drafts in their history in regards to games played in the NHL? The first hint is both drafts only had players. Well, this is before 2019, by the way. We don't count the last 3 years because none of those guys have really played. So in these drafts, they've had less than 12 games played in the NHL. Both drafts. You guys can just get one guess each, and then I'll give the next hint. Guess a year.
John, you first.
I'm going about this thinking that it's probably the Cup years because they didn't have high draft picks in any of those years. So I was going to say 1984.
Are you saying? Oh, okay. Are you saying did they have to play games for the Islanders?
No, just in general.
Ooh. All right. So what if? Okay. So what happens if the Islanders pick was selected by another team in a trade? Does that count as games played? Or no?
No, just picks that they made.
2000? Would it be 2000? Oh.
So my next hint, before John's going to guess next and then you again. I'm going to give a player from each of the drafts.
Okay.
So the first pick the Islanders made in one of those drafts was a guy named Corey Stillman, who played for the Kingston Frontenacs or whatever. And then the other draft, give me a sec. This is a really good question, though. Where is it? I just saw it. And the other one, their first pick was Mark Katic, who played for the Sarnia Sting.
Sarnia
One of them was
Sting.
drafted 62. That was their first pick, so this one makes more sense. The other draft, he was picked 101.
So their first picks were in 101 and 62?
Yeah, so they were later picks in these drafts. That being said, they bombed the draft.
2000 and... $2006.
Nope. Brandon?
Let me think about this. Get on Twitter.
Yeah, no cheating.
Oh no. I no.
The next hint is gonna really help you guys out. So when you make the guess.
1996.
Nope. Okay. So
okay.
Now the hints are gonna really. John, you're the first guess. One of the drafts, the first pick was Patrick Kane.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's easy.
2000 and...
Come on, say the wrong year. Say the wrong year. Say the wrong year.
Was
Yes.
it 2010?
2007.
Yep. The first one was 2007. Brandon was still close. I mean, not Brandon. I'm sorry, John. You were still close though. You guessed 2006. Remember?
I got very close. I'm mad about that.
The draft you guys haven't gotten yet was the worst amount of games played in Islanders history. And it's funny because they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 picks, and they only got 8 games out of those 8 picks. And it sucks. I mean, but I'm going to give you the player that was drafted in that one first overall. And you're going to get the first pick again, John, just to see if you can get it. It's a little bit harder to remember. It's the Ilya Kovalchuk draft.
Kovalchuk. 2002?
Oh. So close. Nope.
2003?
Nope. 3?
Oh, no.
Do you know it then? It's not 2003.
It's got to be 2001.
Yep. And that was the Jason Spencer draft.
And I thought it might be the Milbury years, but I didn't want to say those because I thought that he did well for other teams in those drafts.
That was the Spezza pick, John. That was that year.
Yep. And we traded Chara for Yashin.
So you guys want to hear who was drafted in those years by us? 2001 was Corey Stillman, Dusan Salficki, who was a goalie, Andy Chiodo.
I have no idea who any of those
Jan Holub.
Nope.
Mike Bray, Brian Perez, Roman Kutniknikov, and Juha-Pekka Ketola. And 2007 was Mark Kadick, Jason Gregor, Maxime Grechev, Blake Kessel, very interesting name there, and Simon Lacroix.
Oh, wow.
Nobodies. Unfortunately, even though a lot of these guys were picked out of the Canadian leagues and the U.S. leagues, it just didn't work out. Although that they picked 2 goalies, 132 and 166. That was an interesting job. Because I'm pretty sure they picked DiPietro the previous year. So that was weird that they picked 2 goalies. And Rafi Torres. That might be the worst top 5 in Islanders. DiPietro and Torres.
DiPietro wasn't a bad pick. He just didn't stay healthy.
I should clarify with like success in an Islanders uniform.
Yeah.
That was terrible. All right, so what's yours, Brandon, before we finish? Because my phone's about to die. I don't know why. It says
Again?
I have 10%.
What happened to your charger?
I'm using it, but it says I have 10%. So I don't know if it's
just jeez. All right, yeah, let's get this knocked out quick then.
All right. So the 2009 NHL draft, the New York Islanders selected John Tavares. Who had the most points the year prior?
Of like the
For the
players that
Islanders,
got drafted the year
no,
prior?
no,
Oh, for the
no,
Islanders.
I'm saying for the Islanders, the year
Okay,
prior.
John, you go first.
Um,
I have my first guess.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Mike's gonna get it.
No, there's no way.
You're gonna laugh too.
Oh no, is it? It's not bad.
2008.
You want? I'll tell you another laughable thing. The player had less than 60 points,
Yeah, that sounds
60.
about
Oh
right.
my god.
which should be illegal.
Miroslav Shatan?
Nope. Mike, you next.
Was it? Was it Mark Streit?
You got it.
I did.
Nice.
I fucking get it.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
you got it.
Serious?
Mark Streit with 56 points.
Dude, I swear to God, I'm just on fire tonight with this trivia. John,
If the defense-
there's a video camera. You can see that I didn't cheat. I've been looking at you the whole time.
No,
Mark
you're
Streit-
good. You're good.
Mark Streit had 56 points.
Do you want to hear who I was thinking of first, though?
Who?
Jason Blake. That might have been a few years earlier.
Jason Blake was not on the Islanders.
That's
a few years earlier. He
Shatan might have been earlier. That's what I was thinking of.
Now you're gonna make me look it up. What year was that? 2008.
2008. Let me.
The most amount of points accumulated by a forward was Kyle Posa with 39.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mike Comrie led the Islanders in points in 2007. My God.
Doug Waite with 38 points in 53 games. Bill Guerin with 36 points.
Those were some dark days.
You should have asked 07, 08. It was Mike Comrie. Good luck guessing that.
Oh man, I should have used 2008. Damn.
Look at me. Oh, 2006, 2007 was Jason Blake with 69 points.
Nice.
I was thinking of Jason Blake, and Shatan was second with 59.
That's what I was thinking of. Okay.
That's when they didn't trade. That's when they didn't trade Blake at the deadline.
Dude,
I remember.
Blake had 40 goals.
Yep.
That year.
And the Islanders didn't. And the Islanders, to their credit, rightfully did not keep him.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I was a huge fan of him, though. He was phenomenal with us.
He was, but it's a long-term commitment, and he wasn't always consistent like that.
The year before, he was third on the team in points. He was really good with the Islanders. 52 points in 75 games. Oh, no, 57 in 76. And he was probably playing second line left wing, so that's pretty good.
Yeah.
28 goals today. You take that from Bo if he scored that. Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah, sure. For sure.
All right, guys. Well, that was fun. Sorry for dominating trivia tonight.
I know, seriously.
The trivia. Never see me do that again. That was
the trivia king, Mike, at it tonight.
He's really showing himself.
I got some B Gaines props.
I'm rubbing off on you.
In competition with each other. I have to try to catch up.
I'm rubbing off on you.
Yeah, I think so. A little bit of that Brandon Gaines grease. I
gotta beef up on my knowledge so I can catch up to you guys. What's up?
I thought maybe you guys would have known that they were specific drafts the Islanders were just terrible in, but I guess there's been so many.
You know why? I got 2000 mixed up with 2001. That's why.
No, but
I thought because I was thinking the Yashin trade, but I thought the Yashin trade happened in 2000.
2001.
See, I was thinking the Yashin trade as well, but I thought that happened in 2003, 2004, or something around there.
No, we got Yashin in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Very early, but I didn't know if I didn't know it was 2001. I thought he played in 2000. I guess he didn't.
All right, final thoughts, guys, on what the Islanders are going to do tomorrow. For me, I think they're going to make the pick, and I think they're going to land someone who falls, who shouldn't have.
I've been wavering around making the pick and trading the pick. I don't know which one they're gonna do. Right now I'm leaning towards they're gonna make the pick, and I think they're going to draft Lambert.
Okay.
I think the Islanders are going to draft Brad Lambert, but I think they're going to trade back first.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny because I think we're going to take Lambert too. I think we're all of that same opinion.
I want them to take Frank Nazar, but I don't think Frank Nazar is going to fall that low.
He's probably going to be top.
And with how media has been evaluating Lambert as being like a later teen pick, I think Lou is going to use that and get word on it from Brad Lambert that, hey, these teams aren't as invested in my nephew. Let's see if we can get more draft capital and select him later.
All
and
right.
I think
try to send me this video when you can. We'll figure it out after. All right, I'll call you after the stream. We'll figure it out. Thanks everybody for watching. If you did,
yeah, I'll
for
see
everyone
if
who
I can
watches
post it
later.
online or something. I'm sure I'll be able to do that
later. Whoever watches later, yes. Thank you very much for watching.
Yes.
All right.